Hello fun people, I'm Isaac Carlson, and today we're going to break down, analyze, and theorize about every moment from the official trailer of Pixar's Lightyear. The excitement for this movie is building for me, even though I still have a lot to say about Encanto, and Turning Red is right around the corner, but before we know it, we're going to get to see the definitive backstory of Buzz Lightyear, and of course, to stay up to date with all of my Lightyear discussions, consider subscribing. In a lot of ways, I have some kind of grounding about what might happen, but in another sense, I kind of don't, because there's tons of weirdness around Star Command, Zurg, and time travel. Let's start from the beginning though. The trailer begins by providing a lot more context around the test launch that we saw at the beginning of the teaser trailer, which is introduced to us through Buzz Lightyear's mission log, just like the one we heard Buzz use in Toy Story. We also see him speaking to his risk communicator later on when he's facing a big threat, but we'll talk about that later. We learn that for a year, Buzz has been stranded with other members of Star Command on this hostile planet. Sure, I think it would be cool if it was something like the last Star Command fleet that survived Zurg's invasion of the galaxy, but I don't want to assume anything just yet. All we know is that they've been stuck there, and dangerous plants and vicious bug-like creatures have been attacking them non-stop. Now it's up to Buzz to conduct their first test flight on the XL-01 starship, which apparently is imperative to get everyone back home. So even though we're seeing what appears to be a fortified Star Command base with a defined perimeter, this is not where they're all meant to be. In Buzz Lightyear of Star Command is orbiting Capital Planet, which was the headquarters of the Galactic Alliance. So that could be where they're trying to return to, although we know this story is going to forge its own path from that series. But in one key way, they aren't. Is Buzz Lightyear a real person in the Pixar universe? Well, the original Buzz Lightyear series was meant to showcase the tales of Buzz Lightyear that were watched by Andy in the Toy Story universe. And that's the same premise in Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear is not some real figure, and there are no intergalactic threats as far as we know in the Toy Story universe. The director of Lightyear, Angus MacLane, even explained he pitched the idea of this film to Pixar by asking the question, what was the movie that Andy saw that made him want a Buzz Lightyear toy? And that's what we're getting to see. Now, from the focus on the massive orbed structure in the trailers and the poster, and it's even depicted as a patch on Buzz's suit, I assume this is the starcraft that transported everyone initially to the planet they're trapped on. Either I think the ship crash landed on this world because they were shot down, or maybe they came there and the hostile environment ruined their ship, or there could be a lack of fuel. Possibly it's a combination of things, but I'll explain how I think Buzz ended up on the planet a bit later. You see, in Toy Story, Buzz told us about the source of their ship's energy, and in Lightyear, we're getting to see what that actually looks like.
Do people still use fossil fuels, or have you discovered crystallic fusion?
Buzz's Star Command team clearly had enough resources to get them to the planet and to establish a base, but maybe they are struggling because they are too far away from their main headquarters, which means they currently can't get more crystals and supplies. Maybe limited resources force them to start building new experimental ships. That would explain why Buzz's test flights are so important. And yes, I do mean multiple flights. In the beginning of the teaser trailer and the official trailer, we see Buzz's initial launch featuring the XL-01 starship. And later on, we see another starship labeled XL-15. Maybe there was enough fuel to send out individual single rider ships, but not enough to free them all from the planet. Plus, in the XL-01, Buzz is using a crystal in a container labeled with the number 3. And later on, when he's using the XL-15, he's holding a crystal cell labeled with the number 6. So Star Command is using up their crystallic fuel source, I think, in an attempt to get help. But to get a pilot all the way back to Star Command headquarters, they need a single manned ship with turbo boosters.
Need to repair my turbo boosters.
In the original teaser, we saw a hologram and a robot showcasing Buzz's course in the test flight, and what the goal appears to be is getting Buzz to reach hyperspeed. The path appears to have him launch from the planet, use the star near them as a gravitational whip to accelerate him further, and then he would activate hyperspeed and be slowed down by rings in space before he blew past the planet. Initially, we're shown Buzz in a white suit labeled with the number 1, but when Buzz is flying with the XL-15, he's wearing an orange suit that's labeled with a 15. The orange suit is the one he's wearing when the Crystallic Cell 6 is activated with all of its rainbow energy flowing out of it. And that's when we see him shocked and amazed when he's flying with rainbow colors going past the ship. I think his test launch with the XL-15 is the moment that he finally is able to reach hyperspeed. But a consequence of traveling traveling at speeds approaching the speed of light and going close to massive celestial bodies is that time is contracted relative to the people on the planet. So when Buzz does these test launches, if they are successful, he will experience time at a slower rate than everyone he knows who's trapped on the planet. A minute for him could be a year for everyone who's marooned, and I think that eventually happens. When Buzz is first seen in the official trailer wearing the full Space Ranger suit, he's got his helmet on and is standing in front of the mothership, which means that this is when Star Command first arrives on the planet. Eventually, everyone from Star Command roams the planet without a helmet on because the air is safe, but when they begin to explore, they didn't know whether the air was breathable or not. And we already knew about that protocol because of Toy Story.
How dare you open a spaceman's helmet on an uncharted planet? My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
On arrival, while they're still testing the air, the lush forests on the planet they're marooned on seem bright and thriving, but after Buzz arrives back on the XL-15, the forest is decrepit and dying with a fog across it. We also know that there is a ship stationed above the planet, Zap henchmen patrolling the land, and robot forces on the ground. I think in the time that passes while Buzz is launched into hyperspeed, Zurg found Star Command's base, and maybe he is even the reason they were stranded there to begin with. What if before the events of Lightyear even began, Star Command was already in a war with the evil Emperor Zurg, and during what was believed to be the final battle of the war at Star Command's main headquarters, only a single vessel was able to escape with some damage. Buzz's team would have left before knowing the outcome of the battle, which I think would have actually ended with Star Command's leadership falling. That would explain why no one came searching for them on the planet and why no one from Star Command was able to be reached. If the creators decide to continue the story of Buzz from Toy Story, it's possible they ended up in the Gamma Quadrant of Sector 4, like we saw on Buzz's wrist.
My ship has run off course en route to Sector 12. I've crash landed on a strange planet.
Buzz's team's escape could have accidentally launched them so far away from the headquarters and off their original path that they just assumed they were out of reach of communication, even though in reality Star Command was mostly destroyed. Maybe Zurg was even able to defeat Star Command because of his planet-destroying super weapon that Buzz discusses in Toy Story.
Emperor Zurg has been secretly building a weapon with the destructive capacity to annihilate an entire planet.
Zurg could be on the path to take over the universe, and the only thing that could stop him was the remaining forces that had fled. So over that year, when Buzz and his team were stranded, Zurg may have been searching the universe hoping to find and wipe out the remaining Space Rangers. When Buzz returns to the planet after his successful test flight of the XL-15, his 4-minute flight would result in 4 years passing according to the instructional robot's chart, which would have given Zurg enough time to find Star Command's last base and to compromise or imprison the Space Rangers within it. That would then set up Buzz Lightyear to be the only person left to stop Zurg. But Buzz won't be fighting Zurg alone. Keke Palmer, Dale Souls, and Taika Waititi are all voicing ambitious recruits to Star Command, who we can see are going to do everything they can to take down the evil Emperor.
Destroy Buzz Lightyear! Destroy Buzz!
Now, Buzz calls the giant entity that appears to be Zurg a robot, but there were rumors that early concept art of Zurg suggested he was actually a small alien inside a suit, although we don't really know if that'll be true here or not. Definitely watch my discussion on everything we know about Zurg's original backstory after this for more information on him, which I'll leave linked down in the description. But I really hope that Zurg isn't another enemy's weapon or something like that. I really want the evil Emperor Zurg to be the arch nemesis to Buzz that he's always been described as. In the trailer, we can see that Buzz either has to enter or escape from Zurg's ship, which we can see from him fighting Zurg next to a hallway with an identical hexagonal shape to the ones we saw in Zurg's base from Toy Story 2. We also get to witness a bit of Zurg's purple metal, and we're shown his terrifying ion blaster.
Watch out! He's got an ion blaster!
Zurg is here, and he's not interested in playing games with Buzz Lightyear. He can even take Buzz's iconic laser shots, probably because his suit is made from a similar metal to the ones that the Space Rangers use.
They are a beryllium carbonic alloy, and I can fly.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how this will all play out. I'm very, very hopeful. I think we'll definitely get to see a big moment when Buzz flies and says to infinity and beyond, and I'm glad that's been something that's been kept out of the trailers, because Buzz flying is always the moment to showcase how epic and brave he can be. That will be when I lose it in theaters in June. Disney has been sending a lot of Pixar's movies to Disney Plus over the last few years, but it's incredibly hard for me to think that Disney would do that to a Toy Story spinoff over the summer. As long as Lightyear comes to theaters, I'm gonna go see it at Disney Springs in a Dolby Cinema for sure, and I can just guarantee my brain is gonna be melted with the coolness of Buzz Lightyear. Literally the day before the official trailer dropped, I was looking at Buzz Lightyear Spirit jerseys at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and now I totally regret not getting it because it would have been perfect for this video. But what do you think? What was your favorite moment from the official trailer of Lightyear? What do you want to see in the movie? Let me know in the comments or over on our imaginative Discord server. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more Buzz Lightyear content. We'll be diving into the original series for sure in the coming months. And of course, thanks for watching and have a magical day.